Pretty good moves. He's always fairly chirpy, is Mark Aston.
I think he'd be pleased with the Sheffield side. As I said, they've withstood some pressure and they've only conceded 2 tries.
So the second half about to get underway. And Haven with the restart through Manihera and looking to capitalise on certainly the territorial possession. They can't complain about that in the first half.
A big thing for the Sheffield side is first 15 minutes, they've got to control the ball, they've got to keep hold of it. I just put the mockers on him, coming up with that mistake. You've got to control the ball, you've got to keep your energy levels high, because they were put under a lot of pressure that first half.
Paul Pickering, it was the culprit. And that's put pressure on Sheffield right at the start of this second half. Haven't had 30 seconds of the second half yet, and Whitehaven are in great position here to do some more damage. Here's Rob Jackson. Jackson, former Wigan and London man, plays that ball, and now it's with Manihera. Manihera wrestled to the ground by Whittaker, so they haven't made any progress on that tackle. Now here's Scott Tier. Tier finds Leroy Joe. Joe, the ball back on the infield to Spencer Miller, who's already got 1 try under his belt today. Miller plays the ball. It's not a great pass. McKesey has to stop and pick that up, so he hasn't made any progress. 4 tackles gone, and again Sheffield, the energy draining out of them with pretty non-stop defence. And here's Howard Hill. Hill almost to the try line. That's the 5th tackle. Mark Jackson might fancy his chances here. No, the ball is out to McAvoy. McAvoy looking for the line. He's over the try line. Has he got that ball down? Gareth Ewer had a good view of it. He awards the try. And Whitehaven gets the perfect start to the second half, capitalising on that error. And it was Scott McAvoy, another local product, Hensingham product, who's got the try. And he almost ran out of room, just managed to get the ball down in the corner.
And what an effort from Scott McAvoy. There's the mistake. You've got to keep hold of the ball early on in the second half. They need to compose themselves. But again, look at the determination in the run from Scott McAvoy. Picks out the winger, Danny Mills, one of the smallest players on the Sheffield side. It's just a big guy on the charge against one of the smaller guys, and there's no stopping him there.
McAvoy getting a big cheer from the crowd on the terracing just below us here. And that's a popular try for a local player. Now Manihera hasn't had the best of evenings with the boots. Just 1 from 4 so far for him, and this one out wide. And you can see the difference in the shading on the pitch there. That's where the staging was for the Status Quo concert they had at the weekend. Manihera, though, has landed that one. That's more like it. That's what you expect from Tani Manihera. And Whitehaven ahead now by 16 points to 2.
Whitehaven in the first half, I can't remember them ever running with any deception, any lies, any dummy runners. And here we are. It's Tani Manihera who gives it to the player behind the player who they think, big man on little man. He does well to ground this ball, almost, his neck almost. Very dangerous, but he gets away with it.
And then Rob Jackson from the restart, which was hit with some pace by Johnny Woodcock. And he knocks on, and immediately Sheffield will get the ball back.
A good, clever kick, but how many times do we say this? You've got to concentrate straight from the kick-off when you've scored a try. The amount of mistakes that we see when the team scores a try, they either lose the ball on collision, they lose the ball out off a kick. They've got to improve on that.
John Patrick with the tackle, this plumber who used to be in the army until leaving just recently. Oh, and then that ball has come out, it's been snapped up. Now then, how did that come out? It was a knock-on, says Gareth Ewer.
That's great line speed again from Whitehaven, reacting to the error. They're up quick. There's a right schmozzle with the ball and it squeezes out. It's Adam Hayes on the ball. Could have gone either way.
So one knock-on follows another. It's been a scrappy game at times, this. But Sheffield have paid the price for their mistakes. There are the handling errors. And neither side has been squeaky clean in that respect. 2 tackles gone. Sheffield trying to limit the damage. Could have conceded the penalty there. Adam Hayes, it is, putting himself about. I think he's very angry after that last decision by the referee.
go. Mitch, big effort at the ruck, come on.
Tier on the charge from the pass from Leroy Joe. There are some big guys in this Whitehaven side. Jed Stokes going for the big guys. Here's McAvoy in the charge again. Broadbent in support. Broadbent will get another try for Whitehaven. And the Sheffield defence that time just melting away. And no doubt about that one. And Gary Broadbent, his 81st consecutive appearance, is marked with a try. And the popular long-serving Haven captain adds to this tally for Jed Stokes' side.
McAvoy started the second half with someone tiny, man. He's having a field day. He's got options outside him, inside him. McAvoy hits a real good line. Gary Broadbent backs up like all good fullbacks do. This is what you must do. You must take the ball to the line. Scott McAvoy hits a real good hole. There was no stopping him, and Gary Broadbent in support.
Gary Broadbent, his career began as a 16-year-old in the Widnes Academy side. He's been around for a long time, 31 years of age now, and a very reliable player. His 81 consecutive appearances tells you. Manihera with this conversion attempt, and he should land this one. Groan from the crowd. They thought that one was missing as well. He's on target, 22-2. Whitehaven are on target. Let's get half-time news from Ben Pro.
The message from Mark Aston may have changed given those two Whitehaven tries, but he was preaching composure and patience at the break. A couple of injury problems for the Sheffield boss as well. Craig Brown with a groin problem. He had to come off midway through that first half. And Mitchell Stringer struggling with an ankle injury. But as Mark Aston said to me a few moments ago, all hands on deck at the moment for the Eagles. As for Jed Stokes, he wanted his side to improve their ball control. They're expecting a big 15 minutes from Sheffield at the start of this second half, but it's Haven who started the stronger.
Yes, they lead by 22 points to 2. And Sheffield really, since the opening few minutes of the game, have hardly had a look in this. Surprising it's only 22-2. And it could get a lot worse for them.
There's a telling, Tyler, just making far too many yardage, and it's just one-up carries around the middle of the ruck where this Whitehaven team are having so much success.
A kick over the heads of Rob Warrency. Warrency turns and beats the first line of defence, but can't get past the next. And McKesey in with the tackle. John Patrick in there as well. Woodcock across the field. They haven't made any progress there. Now this is a really crucial time for the Sheffield Eagles. The game could go a long way away from them now if they don't get back into it. Well, McKesey went for the high shot and didn't come off, and they were offside as well.
The line speed on well, I don't know, was that a high shot? It seemed the initial impact was around the ball area. The fact that his head jolted, but I think he's a bit unlucky, McKesey. But the line speed from Whitehaven is the thing that's impressing me. They look like they're up for it now. The first half, I don't think they were. I think Sheffield outplayed them in many parts of the game.
Jed Stokes has obviously read the riot act at half-time. Whittaker, quick hands. Damien Reid, though, quickly closed down. Here goes Matt Whittaker again. Very experienced player. A time at Huddersfield Giants, at Castleford as well. So he's played Super League. Dane McDonald now recommended to the Sheffield side by Adrian Vowles, a Burley Bears coach now. That's where McDonald came from. Oh, big hit again, McKesey. He's really putting himself out about his side, McKesey. Now he's a former Tongan international. His name didn't figure in the early Tongan squad as Rob Warrency chases that kick. But McKesey certainly putting himself about here.
He's getting him in the targets. He's just flying out the line, trying to control him. But Craig Calvert, there was just a word. Look at the shot. Adam Hayes is a real big lad, and he's another enforcer for the Sheffield side. But as I said, that's why you put some of your influential guys into the middle of the pitch, because they can lift you so much with shots like that.
Lindsay with that restart. It's the third goal line dropout the Sheffield Eagles have forced, so they've been doing something right. They just can't find a way through this Whitehaven defence so far. Here's Grant Edwards. Well, he very nearly did. Denied a try in the first half for that double movement.
Hold, Danny, hold.
And a knock on by Edwards. And that's one of the reasons they haven't made any progress.
Ball security this time, and in this half it seems to be Sheffield who are suffering from it. Whitehaven in the first half, but I think it comes about from Whitehaven controlling the ruck, controlling the wrestle. You can see the frustration from Mark Aston.
It's a tired Sheffield side, 2 long road trips in the last few days. Here's Broadbent on the scoreboard for his side tonight. Just his 5th try of the season that was for Gary Broadbent. Hasn't missed a game since April 2006. Phenomenal record.
He may have only scored 5, but I bet he's saved 10 times that.
Danny Barker it was, playing the ball. Here's Howard Hill. He's still got the step. He's got support outside him. He doesn't need it. He's got support on the inside from Tani Manihera, and he'll get another try. And jubilation for Tani Manihera. His first try of the season. And really, he's justified his recall to rugby league by Jed Stokes. He'd gone off to play rugby union with Wigton. Stokes brought him back, former Workington, Widnes and Barrowman, and he's on the end of this.
Howard Hill, so many options he had from this Whitehaven teammates. Tiny Manihera just passing the ball, following up the middle of the pitch. But this is where they look so good. They look so fluent in things that they do. The movement around the ball carried it. Howard Hill steps off his right foot, knows that Tiny's backing him up in the middle. It's a real confident start from this Whitehaven side in the second half.
And a popular try scorer, well, that's put the icing on his birthday cake. Celebrated his 34th yesterday. And as you can see, a junior Kiwi back in 1993. Henry Paul, a teammate in those days. Both of them still going strong. Manihera, another conversion from him. Another 2 points. 28 points to 2. Whitehaven leads. And on course for 4th place in this National League table.
Whitehaven's progress in this game has come up from the movement at dummy half. It's Howard Hill who benefits. Some great footwork here, and he makes that look so easy. It's a really difficult skill to draw a player and pass it, and Manihera does great to score that try under a fair bit of attention as well.
It's a tricky restart. Oh, Broadbent just managing to stay in the field of play. They've certainly put some work in on the restarts of the Sheffield Eagles. So a couple of them, they forced a knock-on from Rob Jackson, the previous one.
It's not good sign that, Bill, is it, when you practice your restarts?
Hold the mark, hold. Go.
It's the little things that matter.
But it's true, Bill, in rugby league we take it for granted that one side will kick to another. Who says that we can't make that a challenge or a competition?
Here's Makisi, just speculating about maybe his involvement for the Tongan squad. The Tonga, of course, naming some pretty surprising players in their squad. Willie Mason among them. Highly unlikely that he'll be playing for Tonga, so I would imagine that squad is going to change, and whether Saya Makisi might find a way in, well, you never know. He has played for them before. Meanwhile, that ball has gone forward.
Going back to Makisi, all he can do is keep coming up with efforts like he has been doing today. And defensively, he's been very strong. Whitehaven are getting themselves in the right area of the pitch to try things like that. I've no problem.
On the 10.
We're trying to promote the ball. It's unfortunate that that ball went forward, but you don't mind doing it in the right end of the pitch.
Well, you've got 5 Super League names in that Tongan squad. The Anderson brothers, Louis and Vinny, and of course both of them injured, so highly unlikely to be involved. Certainly not involved for Warrington for the rest of the season. Tama Tupu, Davita Leo Latu and Willie Manu. So
some good players in that squad.
Tell you what, and the Samoan squad.
And the Samoa wouldn't like to be playing against them.
And Whitehaven will get the ball back from this scrum as Sheffield come up with another error.
And this is it, you've got to control what Howard Hill the one-on-one steal, but now Sheffield, they've not held themselves, they've back-chatted, give a penalty away, and they've marched back 10 yards.
And the crowd scenting blood here. Their side ahead by 28 points to 2, and the hunting horn sounds just below us. It was a chilling sound.
Wait, Johnny, wait. They've got to wait in place.
Here's Carl Edmondson. Well, his opposite number, Tom Buckingham, went looking for him there.
One offside. Go.
Edmondson plays the ball. Jackson trying to burrow his way through. He is held and he's
Play ball.
marched backwards. But could this be another try for Whitehaven? Leroy Joe able to get the ball away to Carl Edmondson. He's lost possession and it's picked up by Whitaker. And Whitaker was looking for somebody, anybody. Well, he was hoping maybe that Rob Warrensey would be there and see him scorching down the field, but no joy.
I thought he was auditioning for come dancing for a second then. Finds the ball in his hand, up, hop, skip, jump. A little bit of a pirouette.
Tanny, you're offside. Tanny, twice I've caught you. You've got to get offside.
And Whitehaven are penalised for offside. Tani Manahera, the player picked out by Gareth Hewer.
Sheffield have got to complete this set of 6 now to get themselves back into the game or not to concede the penalties and the drop ball that they have been doing. They're wasting far too much energy. The Whitehaven team now, you can see them, they're getting off the line a lot quicker. They're talking in defence, they're talking in attack, and again, Saeed McKee's running out the line.
Whitaker gets the ball away to Warrensey, and that's into touch. And the heads just drop a bit for the Sheffield Eagles.
You've got to earn the right to play rugby. I don't think they've made enough forward momentum. They're trying to pass the ball to people in flat attacking positions. It's Warrensey who loses his footwork here. He hasn't much chance of catching or doing anything with that ball if he does catch it.
It's not about the big plays in rugby league, it's about the simple little plays. You never normally see a big ball, and again Sheffield offside. Now they've given the penalty away, back chatting. He's going to have a word with him, Gareth Hewer with the referee.
And he's going to call Brendan Lindsay over. Well, the penalty against Brambani.
Clear call, ball's still in the scrum, and they're all came out. I have to give the penalty for offside. Dom, twice I've penalised him. Dissent, got to get a grip, all right? Have a word with him.
And of course, dissent is very much on the agenda for the officials at the moment, trying to clamp down on that.
Goes from a differential to a full.
That's what I'm saying about the long plays. It's not the long balls, it's the short balls. And Whitehaven have had a lot of success in this weather. It's really slippy, it's heavy conditions, and it's just the nice, short, little crisp passes that are getting through this Sheffield defence.
Hold, go.
So here comes Whitehaven with Howard Hill. We've already seen one example of Howard Hill's fancy footwork. Another one of the senior members of the side, Howard Hill, 33 years old he is now. Here's Manahera, he's 34. Here's Scott McAvoy, one of the youngsters, plays the ball, just 22 years old. Here's Leroy Joe. He pops the ball up to Howard Hill. Hill dances sideways, out to Calvert. Calvert into the corner, another Whitehaven try. Or was it? He's gone to the video ref.
Just check the touch, Correa.
I think to look at whether Calvert got a foot in touch. He doesn't think so.
This is a try, this. Goes low, fast.
Was his trailing foot? No, it's up in the air. No, that's
up. That's a try. That's a great winger's try, that. Craig Calvert knows the way to the try line. What he had to do, dive down.
All right.
Again, the ill discipline of the Sheffield side is really, really starting to cost them.
So Craig Calvert, 18 tries for the season now. Try scorer in the last 4 games.
Whitehaven are having a lot of success with the speed of the play, the ball that they're doing. The plays in numbers, Howard Hill gets the plays off him. Craig Calvert just dives for the try line. But the speed of the play of the ball, the second half, the Whitehaven plays flooding forward. The Sheffield defenders have no options. They don't know what to do. There's that many Whitehaven players running at them, and they just can't control the speed of the ruck.
Over 100 career tries for this club. Craig Calvert. And Manahera, whose kicking return has improved dramatically in this second half. Now then, can he land this one? Another difficult one from way out wide. The crowd behind the post like that one. The crowd in the stand do as well. 34 points to 2. Whitehaven lead here at the recreation grounds.
And you fear for Sheffield now. It's a slippery slope for them. What's the character of the team like? They've already had a pasting at weekend, and they've got to defend plays like this with Howard Hill throwing it over the top. There's not so many times in rugby league you see that play because it is a dangerous play, but that's the confidence that they're playing with now, Whitehaven.
And Edmondson, as he has done all night, charging that ball back up the middle of the field. Graham Mattinson, swatting aside the first couple of defenders, and then he's driven back in the tackle.
You might look at Carl Edmondson, you might think he's a big bloke, he's bound to get through the other end, but his determination and his leg drive means that his body position, he's always dragging his momentum forward. Great work from the front row. He's had an excellent night's work, that lad.
Well, this second half has really belonged to this Whitehaven side. Game in the balance at half-time at 10-2, but they have come on strong. 4 tries so far for them. That kick, though, well, I thought it was going to be too strong.
Oh.
Not so. Now then, another misjudgment, is it? This time from Rob Warrensey. And it's Calvert, another one of the flyers, who's gone for that one. Did he get there in time?
Does Calvert actually knock the ball forward?
Or is he offside?
Do you know what? I think he did get there in time, but I think the grounding, he pushed it, didn't he? We saw that from our position at the gantry, but it's great work from the winger.
It was Warrensey. Well, we saw a misjudgment from Danny Mills. Is this another one? This time from Warrensey? No. And he's pushed that one over the line anyway, but it had already made it, so phew, Rob Warrensey breathes a sigh of relief there anyway.
But that shows how fresh Whitehaven are. You saw all the middle chasing channel, which when I talk about the middle chasing channel, it's the big prop forwards like Carl Edmondson, who's doing a lot of work. He just knew that the ball had gone dead, but the chase and the kick chase pressure that this Whitehaven side are putting on Sheffield shows that they've got a lot of energy in the bank.
No denying the pace of Craig Calvert. And that's a very dangerous thing to do. Well, Sheffield Eagles looking as though they're going to miss out on any points here tonight. Bonus point, of course, beyond them as well. So it makes next week's game against Widnes Vikings very important for their top 6 hopes. Widnes, of course, though, have a very difficult game on Sunday. They're at home to Featherstone. It's very, very interesting how this top 6 is going to pan out. So Sheffield against Widnes next Thursday on Sky Sports, 7:30.
Gary Broadbent on that kick return, then just old man the kick chase team, used his footwork, got down, got up with a slow play of the ball, making sure all his mates were back.
12, big effort, come on.
Here's Howard Hill.
Yeah, you've got to make an effort to move as well. Let's go, get off.
Hill just inside his own 40, plays that ball. Carl Edmondson, and Sheffield really don't have an answer to the power that Whitehaven are unleashing on them. And Manny Hera
That's
puts his shoulder
play.
in.
Outstanding play from Edmondson. Got a half back on his shoulder, got the ball away, and two-handed pass, textbook.
Here's Rob Jackson, just had to stretch behind to get that ball, and then it's come loose, and it's picked up by Sheffield, and Woodcock comes away with it. Oh, that looked for a moment as though it was going to be ugly.
Flipped in there, no, Manahera just tapped him on the side of the head. Sorry, mate.
Whitaker driven back.
Watch this. He's like Superman.
Go.
He's only a lightweight. He's only a flyweight halfback. Didn't mean it.
Wait. Go.
Lindsay. Here's Mike Roby. Roby, for a moment, he was thinking of trying the pass out wide to Danny Mills. Trailer.
Trailer, his teammates have got to back him up there. He's a lone soldier. He's going to get banged. He's going to get dominated by the opposition's forwards. You've just got to have more players moving forward with you when they go wide. Trying to play outside, and Barry said it in the first half, you can't play outside of someone, you've got to go forward first.
Mitch Stringer back out there for Sheffield Eagles, despite having that ankle problem. His right ankle, in fact, looks as though it's pretty heavily strapped. And he's, well, not moving that comfortably up the field. So it is all hands to the pumps for the Sheffield Eagles at the moment with the injuries they've got. One coach very philosophical about it.
Once you name those 17 players, you can't afford to pick up a bloke who's not prepared to go back, and most rugby players, they'll go till they can't go anymore. Mark Aston has asked his big man, his big talisman, Mitch Stringer, listen, get out there, mate, we need a big man, we need to control the forward momentum and the big power juggernaut that Whitehaven are.
Broadbent. This pitch showing a bit of wear and tear now. Of course, it was only a few days ago that they had all these thousands of people on it for the status quo gig. Big night that was for Whitehaven. support act It Bites were on the bill as well, famous for their 1986 hit Calling All the Heroes, and Sheffield Eagles could do with one or two of those now. It's going to take something spectacular, heroic to get them out of trouble.
Stay, go.
Egremont's most famous band, It Bites.
Dominic, move!
Only band, I'd probably venture to suggest.
There's some good bands around here.
The kick from Manihera turns Woodcock, and Woodcock turns and finds that Calvert is there in pursuit, but Calvert's missed him.
The kick chase is awesome, just because of the energy battle that Whitehaven are winning.
It's a very enthusiastic Whitehaven side. Their coach obviously has great motivational powers.
And Sheffield look really, really lethargic. The lads are just the lone soldiers going up. They've missed 21 tackles in 63 minutes. That is far, far too many. But that just shows how good Whitehaven are playing. As I say, when they're moving forward, there's that many people pushing up with them. When Sheffield move forward, there's nobody there in support.
But Sheffield, in the shape of Mitch Stringer, won't give up. His offloads, his second phase rugby, could cause some problems for Whitehaven. They're trying to get numbers in the tackle and slow down the pace. We saw it last week. The game against Featherstone, speed with a key.
But players never give up, Barry. You say that when players take the ball, they still run as hard as they can do, and they're still as honest as they are, but they've got to work as a team.
And that'll be the turnover, and Adebisi was trying to get out of trouble, but really there was nowhere for him to go. And the turnover on the 40-metre line in Sheffield's half. Well, Haven looking good for the playoffs after this run they've had. Of course, they had a terrible start to the season, losing their first 3 games and had financial problems. Paul Crary, the coach, leaving. Jed Stokes coming in, and well, they've turned things round and they're back on track, and they have done 2 grand finals in the last 4 years, Haven. They know what it's all about. Okay, they haven't won them, but they've been there.
This is a great part of the country for rugby league. They absolutely eat, sleep and live it around here. I'd love to see a Cumbrian side, whether it be Whitehaven or a combined side in Super League, and we'd see that every week.
Well, the Haven chairman, Gordon Grace, has already said that they will be preparing an application for the next round. They've got some work to do. But of course, one of the requirements is that grand final victory. They're on the charge now. Jackson just short on the last tackle. Little stab kick, and they'll get it back. It's back to 6. The ball was played at. Lindsay stuck a boot out.
I think they were lucky. I think Leroy Joe pulled that ball forward, but nevertheless, Whitehaven get it again.
So they're right on their own try line, the Sheffield Eagles. Leroy Joe. It's with Mark Jackson, and they're over for another try. And the try is awarded to Jackson. And he's earned that one. He's been threatening it. And a round of applause from his coach, and then more instructions telling them not to ease off.
That's what you want. You want Mark Jackson to run straight onto a ball as hard as he can. He's been probing all that from Adinaf. Leroy Joy kicks the ball. That's the little incident that Barry was on about. Was it a little knock-on? He still played to the whistle. Leroy Joe passes it on to Mark Jackson. Straight through Brambini. Gets up for his try. He's had a real big impact, Mark Jackson. Look at the determination in this run. He picks him straight out, runs over his right shoulder. Johnny Woodcock couldn't stop the big guy either. And Jed Stokes is over the moon.
About as subtle as a flying mallet, Mark Jackson. He might have an appearance in front of the disciplinary schedule for next week, but he's got something to smile about tonight. And Manihera, well, it was 1 from 4 at half-time. It's now 5 from 8. 6 from 8. And it's 40 points to 2. And Whitehaven have really transformed this game. A struggle at half-time has become a romp in the second half.
Mark Jackson's been asked to play a couple of roles in this performance.
I think it's going high, Richard.
And this is the thing that makes Mark Jackson the player that he is. He's big, fast and strong with good late footwork, but he's tough, and he absolutely loves that.
Oh, and then a bad restart. And it's all going wrong for Sheffield Eagles. Manihera, 6 from 9 now. He's kicked his last 5, and he obviously just likes kicking that way towards the coast, because they've all landed that way. The other end, the town end, he's not so happy.
That's a theory, Bill. I never thought of that.
It's gravitational. It'll be the tide, you see.
It's in the stars, Bill, I can see them.
It's a tidal thing.
It's lunar. It's lunar, you're right. Lunar or loony.
The ball with John Patrick.
First! On the line, hold! Go.
And Whitehaven in possession.
Second!
And in the Sheffield danger zone again. And looking for some more points.
Don't go around his head.
Another teasing kick, and Danny Mills, well, lesson learnt in the first half. He was going to take no chances with that one. He had Adebisi breathing down his neck, and that one ended up in the terracing.
It was a teasing kick, and you could see the smile on Adebisi's face as he went behind Danny Mills. Danny Mills wasn't going to bother with this. He just backed it straight out. The pressure that the guys were putting on him, Danny Barker and Adebisi.
So restart finds Whitehaven again, bringing this ball forward. And this has certainly been a good response to that 18-16 defeat at Dewsbury last weekend.
Nearly every Whitehaven player, when they've got the ball or the defending, has got a smile on their face. And whenever you get a full team enjoying what they're doing, it's a pleasure to watch, and it's a pleasure to be involved in.
Tackle 3, Brendan with me, come on.
So Whitehaven, just under those posts. Graham Mattinson spinning over. Did he reach out and get that one down? Right under the nose of the referee. He's happy. Haven are happy. Brendan Lindsay is just dejected. And hooker Graham Mattinson gets the try, the 8th different try scorer on the night for Whitehaven, and it's a dejected Sheffield side. Hammered 42-6 at Celtic on Saturday, and now getting a pasting here at the recreation ground.
And they're absolutely shot to pieces. These are one of the worst tries that you concede. And then when the acting half-back picks up the ball, he just scoots forward, shows a little dummy. There was nobody there, but look, there's 3 defenders around him. Big Mitch Stringer still could not stop Graham Matson from scoring that try. They're just playing with so much energy, and the energy that they're showing, they're coming together as a team. And quite rightly you're saying, Barry, they are playing as a team, and that is the big thing in this second half that's got them in front.
Manihera, the tide again having the effect required. That one on target. 2 more points, 46 points to 2. Whitehaven now leads, and another different try scorer for them. The hooker Graham Mattinson. And it's going to be a long journey home for this Sheffield Eagles side, a battered and bruised Sheffield Eagles side.
Do you know, it shows how dominant Whitehaven are in the second half. You'd always say about your forwards, get you on top of the opposition. Now, we've talked about all after second half, Leroy Joe, Tiny Manihera, and they're playing on the back of the platform that's been laid from up front. This guy, Carl Edmonds, he has had a real big night. He's been good going forward, and he's been destructive in defence.
30 points in 30 minutes in this second half, a point a minute from Whitehaven. And Sheffield have had no answer to it.
Tackle 3, move! Hold the 10.
McDonald looking for the penalty. Jackson.
And they don't look like they've finished as well, Bill. They're still running with determination. There's still the players pushing up with them.
10, move!
Well, they've got the weekend off to look forward to. Mattinson, straight up the middle. Whitaker with the tackle. That's the last.
That's good, here we go.
Manihera stabs a kick right up the middle of the field. That's a great one. Calvert was chasing that one, well read by Woodcock. Good work from the full-back. Did well to get out of trouble there, Johnny Woodcock.
He could hear the hooves coming. Scott Tier was the chief kick chaser. He just thought if he could get anywhere near that ball, there would be an error. And Johnny Woodcock did well to get the ball, regather it.
That was a pretty blatant penalty conceded by Carl Edmondson there.
That was a soft penalty. That Carl Edmondson, they've done the hard work. They pushed him back, try and turn on. You don't try and strip the ball like that. Put your team under a bit of pressure. They were Whitehaven with the team that were adding the pressure to the Sheffield side, because they just look so lacklustre in what they're doing. There's not enough players there working as a team. Mitch Stringer there, all on his own. If he gets his arm free, there's no one there to pass the ball to.
Let's go.
Brendan Lindsay.
Second.
The tackling just as determined from this Whitehaven side.
Tiny, come on, 10 metres.
So Sheffield's season really Well, it hasn't gone off the rails because they're still very much a playoff candidate. When you think they were third in the table at one stage, but their recent form has certainly let them down. Concerns for Mark Aston, but given that they were newly promoted a couple of years ago, made the playoffs last season, Mark Aston winning the National League One Coach of the Year for the impact his newly promoted side had had. It's a great effort from the Sheffield Eagles club to be involved again. The ball patted back by Mills. They're still playing patty cake with it, and they'll come back eventually for a knock-on by somebody. And I think it was a Haven knock-on, and it was Ryan McDonald who was the culprit.
Ryan McDonald just tried to bend his bat and just had a little look. He's gone for the ball. Here's it patted back. Tiny man here, putting pressure on. Puts his fingers on it.
Good spot by the touchy that was, because there was bodies all over the place.
Get in the scrum, come on.
I bet he was glad he didn't get out in the open here. Look at him go!
Right.
He did look up and see, oh no.
I don't think he fancied running that far. Run that far in the season.
First move! Go.
So Sheffield, is there a late burst of defiance from them? It's coming up to just about 6 minutes on the clock.
Second, 2 feet on the line.
And 46-2 it was at the weekend in Bridgend. 46-2 it is here against Whitehaven now. I think Stringer has popped that ball out the back, and they've kept it alive. It's out wide with Warrensey. Warrensey comes back in field. He knew that if he went out, he was going to end up in touch. He might still end up in touch, because that's where he's heading at the moment.
He's held, 3.
Eventually, he's held, says referee Hewer.
2 feet, let's go.
Brambani checks and then backs his own judgment. The kick is too strong, and that's going to go dead.
I think if Mark Aston was working in a fighter's corner, if he was a boxer's trainer, he'd throw the white towel in by now. He's conscious and mindful that the season hasn't gone, and they've got a lot to play for next week. This game has gone. He doesn't want to lose any more through ill discipline. Players can get frustrated in games like this. As you just saw there, you can see players just getting a little bit tired, a little bit frustrated. You don't want to lose anybody else through injury as well.
Well, Whitehaven poised to go up to fourth in the table above Lee Centurions, and Lee with a very tough game at Celtic at the weekend, so that's a tall order for them.
Tackle 4, 11 moves.
So this National League One contest really is turning out to be an enthralling one. We've got Sheffield and Salford and Halifax at the top of the table, battling it out. Well, it looks as though Salford now have got adequate daylight between them and Halifax. Celtic and Halifax battling it out for that second spot. And of course they've to meet in a couple of weeks' time at the Shea.
And we've got Featherstone, we've got Batley, and we've got Widnes still with a chance of getting in those playoffs.
So there's a lot to play for, and we'll see Sheffield taking on Widnes next week. Here is Whitaker.
Second, clear the ruck. Yeah, Scott, wait for the push, wait.
So Sheffield with some regrouping to do before they meet the Widnes Vikings next week, and they'll be hoping that they can get some of the battered bodies patched up and back out there in time for next Thursday.
That's a desperate kick from Brendan Lindsay there, just kick and hope. You won't catch Gary Broadbent out with a water pistol kick like that.
The reason why he looked up, there was nothing happening outside him. There was no one that wouldn't support to pass the ball to. He thought that I'll have to come up with a play on my own, and Brendan Lindsay put the kick through. There was no even kick chase pressure from his teammates on the right-hand side from Sheffield.
Well, they call this a bit of a dad's army side here, when you think that you've got the combined age of the half-backs of 77 with Manny Hare and Leroy Joe, but they've not done a bad job, have they?
I remember playing in a front row at Widnes that were in the 80s, me, but you can't replace experience, you can't replace.
I wonder if they're playing goal shorts next week.
Yeah, they're almost qualified for Masters Rugby League, and they qualified for another try here tonight, I think. Jackson getting his second, says Gareth Hewer. He did get that ball down underneath the posts, and all smiles from Mark Jackson. In his 8th season at the club, the former West Brow man.
All you can say about this try from Mark Jackson is determined. He got the ball straight up Leroy Joe, got the ball, just picks out Matty Whitaker. Again, Johnny Woodcock tried his hardest, just couldn't stop the big guy. They're just playing the ball far too easy. Howard Hill finding his front. Scott T passing the ball. Mark Jackson, look at the strength of the guy. Not to be grounded, turns over, and there it is.
And Manihera with the conversion attempt, bang in front of the post. That brings up his first 20 points in the game, his personal tally. And for Whitehaven, 52 points to 2 they lead. And jubilation for the Haven supporters.
Don't underestimate the part that Scott Tier played in that particular move there. Come back on the angle on what we call a drop-off ball and give a lovely little offload to Mark Jackson, who still had a lot to do and deserved to get his try. Well, 2 tries for Mark Jackson.
Hats off to the Sheffield Eagles, because right at the death they're trying another short restart and they've come up with the ball. It was Tommy Traylor who got on the end of Woodcock's kick. And they've still got time here maybe to get a try on the board. They've just got those 2 points through that early Woodcock penalty. That seems ages ago now that they actually led here, because it's subsequently been all about Whitehaven. But Dane McDonald crawling towards that try line. The ball out wide, and they are in at the corner, and Warrensey will get the try. An ironic cheers from the Whitehaven supporters. And Rob Warrensey gets his 6th try of the season. And there's a stunned silence among the Whitehaven supporters.
And it's just a never-say-die attitude from rugby league players in general. They know the game's gone, but Matty Whitaker looked up on the blind side, hit the ball to Rob Warrensey in to score. They know the game's gone, but that's the professionalism what these guys play. Rob Warrensey's had a bit of a misfortune day today. Very strong with the ball going forward, but he's not been given that platform by his forwards in the middle of the park.
And that all comes down to that short restart that Tommy Traylor got underneath and got a hold of.
You've got to keep trying everything, Bill. You've got to get the ball back. You can't score unless you've got the ball, can you?
Well, at least they've got the consolation of getting across the Whitehaven whitewash. It's taken them nearly 80 minutes to do it. And Woodcock, for his 2nd success of the game, his 1st in only the 2nd minute of the game. And this one finds its way over. 2 more points, and 52 points to 8. That's the last action of this game. Sheffield Eagles having the first and the last word, but in between it was Jed Stokes' side who have totally dominated this game, and they've run away with this one in emphatic style. A win that takes them up into 4th place in the table. Mark Jackson there getting 2 tries, and the power of this Whitehaven side is what told.
The second half, they were just professional, a full professional outfit. They controlled the ball, they were disciplined, and that's what Jed Stokes asked for leading up to this game. They gave far too many penalties away last week. But what they're going to do, what Jed Stokes won't be happy with, is conceding that try at the end. He wanted perfection, and it would have been to make this Sheffield side only the 2 points from the penalty early on in the game from Syed Nakisi. He would have been very, very happy with that. He's still going to be happy, but it would have been better for him if they wouldn't have conceded that try.
Well, Whitehaven coming into this game after a surprise defeat at Dewsbury last time out. Jed Stokes was looking for the right response from his side, and he certainly got that today. He's with Ben.
Jed 5th against 6 before today, but the margin, a huge one for Whitehaven in the end.
Yeah, it was. We had a sluggish start to the game, though, and I wasn't very happy with that. The first 15 minutes just didn't happen for us, but we certainly made amends for that coming up into half-time, and then after half-time I thought we were quite superb.
And those 2 tries very quickly after the break really put you in the driving seat, didn't it?
Absolutely, but I thought the introduction of Howard Hill after half-time was a massive blow for Sheffield, because his go forward was tremendous, and he sparked everybody else as well. So and we got some very, very nice tries out of those go forwards. And I thought our forwards play was tremendous, and that's what, you know, over the last few weeks, that's what we've been basing our play around. Is that we put some really nice plays towards the end of the game together, and I thought I couldn't ask for any more. And I'd be a bit harsh to mention the try they scored last, so we'll let them away with that one.
And it's a victory that moves you up to 4th in the table. 2 matches left. Home advantage so important in the playoffs.
I believe so, especially for us. As you can hear, we've got a tremendous crowd that gets behind us, and the lads know they're there, and I think they really come up for the games here. And I think, like the way the team's performed this year, under a lot of pressure, especially at the start of the year, and losing players to injury throughout the year. I mean, like, you couldn't ask for anything more. They've been a fantastic team to coach, and the whole squad's been fantastic about the way they've presented themselves this year.
And Whitehaven, a club that knows all about the grand final. I know you don't want to look too far ahead, but there's been a couple of times where you've heartbreak on the big day. You'd love to get there again.
Yeah, I think any team that's in the top 6 here wants to try and make the grand final. There's no doubt about that. Good financial incentive as well. But I think for us, day by day, game by game is what we've worked on, and we won't go away from that. There's some very, very good teams in this competition, some very good teams. So we've got a lot of respect for them all. And Sheffield was a big game for us today, as has each game up until now been. I mean, I'm constantly saying this is our biggest game of the year every week, so the guys are getting a bit sick of that, but in each case it has been.
Thanks very much, Jed. Gary Broadbent also with us. Gary, you're fair to say Mr. Whitehaven. I think it's your 80th consecutive appearance tonight. You've been there for some of the heartbreak in these grand finals. How much do you want to get back to the big showpiece again?
Yeah, it would be nice, but we don't get carried away. Last week we got turned over by Dewsbury, and tonight we talked a lot of things during the week, and it's about how you react from a defeat. We've done that today, but we've got 2 tough games before we even get to the playoffs. There's an out in the league. Anyone can beat anyone. It was proven last week when we got beat by Dewsbury. We've got a bar up now for Lee, and then we've got Widnes here, so we certainly won't be getting carried away about playoffs until hopefully that comes 24th of August.
But in terms of the game itself, 2 tries after half-time really put you in control, but the hunger that the side continue to show must be very important going into the playoffs.
Yeah, I think, up here we've got a great self-belief in the team. We haven't got a lot of superstars, and we're just a hard-working team. First half, there wasn't much in it. There wasn't a lot of pretty rugby played, but second half, we come out, managed to get on top, and managed to rack up a few points first time this season.
Well done, Gary. 81 consecutive appearances. Thanks very much for talking to us.
Yes, that's an amazing record from the Whitehaven skipper. A couple of years since he last missed a game, and he was, as ever, rock solid here tonight. And biggest win of the season for Whitehaven. Biggest win ever against the Sheffield Eagles, 52 points to 8. And emphatic win in the end. It didn't look like being that at half-time, just 10 points to 2 it was at half-time. But this is what it means for Whitehaven's season. OK, they're up to 4th place in the table. They've leapfrogged over Lee Centurions. Lee with a tricky game at the Celtic Crusaders at the weekend. Sheffield Eagles staying in 6th place, but they've got Widnes, Featherstone and Batley breathing down their necks. And of course, Sheffield play Widnes next week, so that could be a crucial game. So this is a bit of a setback for Sheffield Eagles' playoff hopes. Widnes